Welcome in to another Running with the Timberwolves podcast on the Believe Sports Network. My name is Gabe Anderson, and I'm joined, as always, by Chris Emerson. Chris, how we doing?
We're doing okay. We're still in the playoffs, guys. It's not over with yet.
Right.
We'll be okay.
Right, and hopefully some good times are ahead. Hopefully that was just a fluke. We'll talk about it, but I do want to start with our sponsor, 612 Tees, a great local company making awesome t-shirts and sweatshirts, and I'm going to share my screen here so you can see some of their designs. I mean, you got the cool Anthony Edwards one, some Nas Reed shirts here. Got a LeBron one here, another Nas Reed. Even I was looking at this one. You got a Jaden McDaniels, got the Step Brothers one right here as well. Tons of cool shirts for you to check out. I even saw Jalen Clark one here. Love this one, the Jalen Clark County one. Although I wish he would, wish he would get a couple minutes, but that's neither here nor there. But I do want you to check them out. Check out 612 Tees. The website is linked in the description. And something pretty cool, if you use the promo code RUN30, that's RUN30, you'll get 30% off your first purchase. So go check them out. 612 Tees.
Yeah, I'm excited. I've got one on the way right now, and I think I might put in another order. Me and my buddy were looking at them just yesterday. So yeah, I think we're gonna get some more.
They also have some golf tees. They have some Vikings tees as well, some Twins as well. So they got you covered. Check it out. 612 Tees. Use promo code RUN30. That's RUN30 at checkout for 30% off. Thank you so much to 612 Tees. Well, we're going to move forward here. Let's talk about the travesty that was last night. And I do want to remind you, make sure to like, share, and subscribe on YouTube and give us a 5-star rating on Spotify and or Apple. And let's start out this way. And I was telling you this before we started. I don't care if you are the 2016 or the 2018 Warriors, or if you're the 98 Bulls. In today's NBA, if you shoot that bad from three, you're not going to win. You're going to get swept 4-0.
And you deserve it. Yeah, I mean, and it wasn't even just the three-pointers that were bad. Like, we missed so many layups that game, too. I mean, it was all around ugly. But yeah, if you're going to shoot like that, you're going to lose. And that's just what it is. So I was kind of almost sad we were so close, because I'm like, man, we might pull this out even though we played so bad. Like, this is crazy. And then, fell apart a little more at the end, which wasn't surprising.
Right. And we got it within 13 at one point. And I think this was the turning point when I thought, okay, we're done. The Warriors, we get it within 13, and then Jimmy Butler banks in a three, which he's trying to get fouled on. And then the next possession, and then the Wolves don't score. And then the next possession, they come down and hit another three, blossom the lead eventually to 23. And I was like, okay, with how we're shooting tonight, it's absolutely over at this point. But one thing that I think it was Van Gundy was calling for, why do we not give the ball to Rudy Gobert in more situations? I mean, he got that one post up on Jimmy, got one dribble back down, and he got a dunk. Like, we got to incorporate him more into the offense against this small team. And the Warriors, they started playing Looney at the end of the game, which seemed to stabilize a little bit. But, I mean, come on. Attack the basket, a little lob up to Rudy. That's what we were doing for the last 2 or 3 weeks at the end of the season. And then all of a sudden we just go away from that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of greed. There's a little bit of selfishness. There's a little bit of, I want to be the guy. Like we said last episode, I mentioned Rudy Gobert doesn't go for 20 points because he's, hitting step back jumpers or, getting by a guy with his first step to get a layup. Rudy scores 20 because our stars, or our guys that are dribbling the ball, that are penetrating, that are doing whatever, are willing to pass it to him in a place for him to dunk. Like, that's how he gets 20. So his points pretty much tell you if we're passing the ball. if
Mhm.
we're being unselfish. And we were pretty selfish last night. Like, I was really disappointed in how Anthony Edwards played. I was disappointed in how a lot of our guys played. And if you're not going to just give the easy buckets to the guy that's 8 inches taller than everyone that's defending him, I don't know what we're doing.
Right. And you mentioned Anthony Edwards in the post-game presser. Finch actually called him out a little bit. He said it starts with Anthony. He struggled early and the light went out for him. And he said that Ant came out with a predetermined mindset of what we were doing. And rather than letting the game come to him, he said, okay, I'm going to shoot threes. I'm going to do this, this, and this, rather than adjusting on the fly. Would you agree with that statement or no?
Yeah, and people were mad about it, and I actually think Finch is. I've actually been disappointed with how Finch has handled Anthony Edwards this year. In years past, he's been a little bit more direct. He's been a little bit more stern. I think as Anthony Edwards' star starts growing, the coach's influence shrinks, and I think that happens to every star player. But last night we were down, I think it was about 6 minutes left. I felt like maybe it was 4 minutes left, and we were down 10 points at one point. And Anthony Edwards drove, didn't get the foul called, laid on the ground and bitched about it to the ref, stayed
Mm-hmm.
back, yelled at him, obviously didn't get back on defense, and his guy got a layup to push it to 12, which then went to, I think then that might have been about the time that Jimmy Butler hit his heave. Like, those types of plays, if I would have saw that and I was a coach, I would have pulled Anthony Edwards out of the game instantly and sat him, because you can't be pulling that kind of crap when it's a playoff game and it's important. And it's not the first time he was bitching to the refs about nothing. And it wasn't a foul. He was just complaining because he wants every call. Um,
Right.
I was disappointed with a lot of what he did last night. The most thing, and I've talked about this a couple months ago when things changed for him. You know, Anthony Edwards in the last couple years does this thing where he Euro steps when he's going for a layup, and then he's almost jumping straight up at the basket to lay it up. Like, he gets so far underneath because he's trying all these Euros to like slither by guys, and that doesn't work. Like, that's like a passive way to be a basketball player, to try to sneak by and slide him in on the backside. When he was dominating at the end of the year and in the playoffs versus the Lakers, he was taking off from, not the free throw line like Jordan, but like a step in where he has time to be in the air. And that's when you get fouled. That's when
Mm-hmm.
guys get ticky tack stuff on you. And that gives you a chance to still finish at the rim. He needs to be more aggressive like that. He needs to take off with the intent to score. And if a foul happens, it happens. Last night, it felt like he was looking for the fouls. And if
Right.
he could get it up on the rim, then that would be a bonus. That's like a loser's attitude in my mind. Like, you got to go in there with the mindset of scoring first.
Yeah, and I thought that he was better in the second half, I will say. He was better attacking the basket. He knew his shot wasn't going. So, honestly, and that's the thing, watching this Warriors team, particularly when Looney's not out there and there's no shot blockers, I feel like Ant can get to the basket anytime he wants.
Yeah.
I I really think that. And another thing that I noticed watching this Warriors team, particularly without Steph Curry, and even while Steph Curry was out there, I kept saying this. This team is so freaking beatable.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
there is nothing they are doing other than the Steph Curry factor, which obviously it came out today. They're not going to have him at least till game 5. Other than that factor, there's nothing special that this team is doing that the Wolves have not seen before, particularly in the playoffs. So,
100%.
and that's what made it so frustrating. Now, yes, obviously, right? You're not hitting shots. Okay, whatever. It was a horrible shooting night. A lot can be attributed to that. When you get outshot 18-5 from behind the 3-point line, you're not going to win many games. Let's be completely honest. But it was some of the hustle plays as well. I mean, the Warriors were the worst offense or the worst rebounding team in the first round of the 16 teams, even the teams that got beat in the first round. And they out rebounded us by 10 and had 6 more offensive rebounds. I'm sorry, with that small of lineup, that can't happen. That absolutely cannot happen.
I agree. And I mean, it was a complete dumpster fire, so it's hard to really point to some things, but this is something that's been bothering me as I've been watching it, watching last game and the series prior, is, some of the lineups that Finch puts out there are just destined to be crap. Like, when you have a lineup out there that doesn't have Anthony Edwards or Julius Randle in it, nothing's going to happen offensively for us. Like, we
Right.
don't have any, like, we've had multiple lineups out there where it's 3 guards where you would think it would be good. It's, Dante, it's Nikhil, it's Connolly, Nas, and Rudy Gobert. I know was one of the lineups last night. And it's like nobody knew what to do. The ball wasn't moving. It was all just like forced, terrible shots.
Mhm.
And at this point of the year, when you've got a guy like Mike Conley out there that's a million years old, like it just blows my mind that he's on the court and not taking over as a running a play type point guard at that point. When nothing's happening. Like, what else is your value to the team if you're not doing that? Like,
Right.
I just, there's a lot of things that really shook my head. Thank the Lord Curry's out. That's going to be a savior because he was kicking the crap out of us in the first quarter. I mean, he was on
Right.
pace for 45. We talked about it in the pregame or in the preview, is if we just stick Jaden on him, he's going to cook the hell out of Jaden just like he does every time. And that's what we did. And he was about to, I mean, he had 16 already, like in 12 minutes or something. Like, I'm glad we don't have to deal with that, but I think Finch really needs to go to the drawing board and draw up some stuff that's different. Like, the same old isn't working in these playoffs sometimes. And sometimes you gotta take a chance to win, in the
Right.
playoffs.
Right. And I don't think that you can just blame this on rust. I don't think you can blame it on that because, for example, last year, what happened after the Wolves had a week off to get ready for the Suns? They came out and buried them. What happened last year after the Wolves had some time off after beating the Suns in 4 and then playing the Nuggets after almost a week off? They came out, stunned them on their own floor. So it's not just about rust right now. It is about execution. It's about mindsets. It's about playmaking. It's about rebounding. Hey, so you can't just blame bad shooting on rust. And
Well, yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
we weren't rusty when we played the Lakers last game, and we shot 14% from 3 for that. We were 7 of 47 in game 5 versus the Lakers. I think we're something like, I don't know, whatever, 15% in the last 2 games combined. Like, that's god awful. There's something going on that's a little more than rust, but I think a lot of it is mental. Like, I almost think it would be better for us to start on the road. There's less pressure on, and get a couple wins, then we can come home with some rhythm.
Right.
I just don't know if we're just not a very mature team still. We're still working on it. A lot of that's on Anthony Edwards' shoulders. We need to play better, and if he doesn't drive the ball 30 times next game, like, I don't know what to say. Like you said, he can get to the basket on anyone. There's not a person on that lineup for Golden State, like on the whole roster, that can probably jump and get his hand above the rim. I don't know why we're not attacking constantly. So, yeah, something needs to change, and it needs to be dramatic.
And hopefully that we do. I would love if we came out in game 2 just ready for them, just aggressive, attacking the basket. And not only that, when the Warriors do adjust and pack the paint a little bit, hit open shooters. And how about this? Hit some shots. I mean, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, as much as you love him defensively, he's becoming a playoff liability on offense. Just some of the stats here. 20% from 3 in the playoffs, 24% from the field. That's unacceptable. If you're going to get minutes, throw out Jalen Clark, because you get almost the same defensively as you get from Nickeil Alexander-Walker. And if Nickeil Alexander-Walker, like we mentioned on the first podcast, if he wants to make some money this offseason, the best way to make money and to make your worth the more and more is to play well in the playoffs. And so far, he's not doing that. And last year, he wasn't that great either.
Yeah, I mean, Dante DiVincenzo in the playoff is shooting 18% from three. Mike Conley is shooting 26%. Like you said, Nikhil is shooting 20%. Jaden McDaniel is shooting 31%. Anthony Edwards is shooting 32%. I mean, that's terrible. All that is below NBA average. Like NBA average is like 35%. So like we're talking the majority of our scorers are all shooting terribly. The only guy shooting decent is Naz Reid, and behind him is Julius Randle. Julius Randle is your second best three-point shooter by percentage. Like, you're not doing so good. Like, that's not his specialty. Like, if it swings and Julius Randle takes a three-pointer with like 10, 15 seconds left in the shot clock, that's a win for the defense.
Right.
We need to do better. And I think it's just, sometimes when you roll the dice, you get snake eyes. Sometimes you roll the dice and you get snake eyes again. I think that was what was kind of happening last night. We were just shots weren't falling. Like math is going to tell you that next game we're going to shoot, 45% and blow them out from three. So we need it.
Right. Absolutely. And like you were mentioning with the three-pointer. On the other end, I will say the Warriors did have some things happen that usually don't happen. Draymond Green hit 4 threes last game. Now, I'm not saying he can't hit threes, but when he's 4 for 5 in the first half, that's going to be the exception, not the rule. Or if it is the rule, we might be in trouble. Buddy Hield looking like Sacramento Buddy Hield or Indiana Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield was great in that game, and it wasn't all hitting threes. It was attacking the basket as well. The rim protection wasn't that great for the Wolves. And like we've been mentioning on this podcast, this is a different set of this is a different opponent than the Lakers. Like I said, the Lakers, methodical. They're going to dribble the ball up with Luka or LeBron, then they're going to swing it to an open shooter, or it's just going to be Luka or LeBron attacking. This is not that team. This is a team that back cuts and picks for each other and gets open lanes, open dunks, open layups. So we got to come out and adjust. And the defense wasn't bad. I mean, we held them to 16 points in the first quarter. And that's why I say that this Warriors team is so freaking beatable. It's gonna feel worse. If we lose this series, particularly if Curry, let's say Curry doesn't play the rest of the time. If we lose this series, I will feel worse than if we didn't even make the playoffs whatsoever. Because particularly with Curry out now. And now Jimmy Butler, playoff Jimmy, whatever. He didn't really show he was good last night, but it took him a while to get going. If we lose this series, I will feel probably the worst I have as a Wolves fan. We got to get this done. Particularly if Curry's out the rest of it.
For sure. I mean, it would fall on Coach Finch's head pretty hard if we lost this series. Because, I mean, you can't blame the players fully all the time. It just for some reason you can't. I would be, depending on what happens, I would be one of the people that would blame Finch, and I'm one of the biggest Finch backers there is. But, he needs to show that he's got the stones to make some moves, and the moves have to be done well, because just doing the same old thing might not be working. The last 2 games have shown that we're not rolling on all cylinders with what's been going on.
Right. And one encouraging thing I'll give for a Wolves fan is I was listening to the post-game presser, and Ant didn't sound too concerned about the Wolves, and a lot of it was just we're missing shots. I got to be better, stuff like that. And remember the last time that Anthony Edwards wasn't too concerned about it was after that Bucks loss. I remember we talked about it, Anthony Edwards basically said, hey, it's just another game. We know we got the biggest game against Memphis the next night. And what they do, they won 3 or 4 in a row and made the playoffs. So, I mean, they can turn it around. I like Ant's attitude. I'm not saying that the sky is falling like we saw earlier this year against Portland, where he's like, I can't handle these double teams. So I do have faith in Ant that he's going to learn. He's going to adjust. He's also that he's going to start hitting shots. But it's just a game that you should have won. You should have won that game. You should have won probably handily. I mean,
20.
when you're up 20-16 after the first quarter, they should have been up at least 10, 15 after that quarter if they're playing normal Timberwolves basketball. And the other thing before I throw it to you, and I love this Van Gundy on the color commentary on was it TNT last night? Yeah. He kept saying it. Yes, the Wolves weren't hitting shots, but they also gave up, 36 points to the Warriors in the third quarter. Like what a defensive breakdown. What a defensive breakdown. You got to avoid that. You can't give a team that is already hurt, already at a disadvantage. You can't give them life. And that's what the Wolves did last night.
And the guys that were scoring on us were bums. Like those guys were
who the hell is Cam Spencer?
Right.
Wasn't he like a lacrosse player in college? Yeah. I'm almost positive he was a lacrosse player.
He was like the number one lacrosse player in the nation. But I mean, so you got Spencer, you've got Kuminga, and you've got Peyton. You got like those types of guys piling up points in the third quarter. You're like, come on. Like this is not happening. I think we just have to, Men in Black, erase our mind that this game happened and go back to the drawing board. Like Finch was saying, like we were just inventing things on defense. He said nothing we talked about, nothing we practiced we were doing. People were just doing their own thing and It wasn't working. So like maybe it was a wake-up call that we needed, and this will, we'll still go Wolves in 5 and it'll catapult us forward. We needed this kind of absolute stomping to show us that we're we can lose, but we need to do better. And it was embarrassing, probably the most embarrassing game I've watched maybe that I can remember.
Oh yeah, it's right up there with that Milwaukee game.
Yeah, well, I mean, and the difference is I guess I forget who was Giannis out for that Milwaukee game.
No, Giannis was playing.
Yes, I mean Curry wasn't playing, dog. Like that's terrible.
Yeah, no, this is a bad loss. This is bad, but hopefully we can turn it around. Is it still Wolves in 5 in your opinion?
It is. It's still Wolves in 5 because, I mean, when I was watching that game last night, I was watching the lineups that were out there for Golden State. And it's like, what are we talking about? Like, like G League teams would be disappointed with that roster. We've got to just destroy this team. We got to not be shell shocked. Sometimes when players are out or there's like something like that, your team tries differently and it gets out of its rhythm. Like I played slow pitch softball, and when we were short a guy, we'd go 3 guys in the outfield instead of 4.
Right.
And every time we did that, the other team would try to just smash it to the outfield because there's an empty guy, but that wasn't what they're used to doing. And we'd always catch easy fly balls because they're trying to do something that they're not normally doing.
Right.
Or if you would have just hit your line shots, you got doubles all over the field. Same with us last night. Once Curry went down and stuff wasn't going, like we tried to do different things. Stick to the game plan. Run what got us there. Like get to the basket, Anthony Edwards. Get to the basket, Julius Randle. Yep. You know what I haven't seen any of really this playoff is where's the Mike Conley, Rudy Gobert pick and roll?
Yeah.
Like when stuff isn't working and those two are on the court like they were when we had a huge drought last game, just take the ball up top and get a simple pick and roll, side pick and roll going. Like there's so many like simple things we're not doing. I just don't get it. It seems like we're just maybe the moment was too much last night at home. And we're going to relax and be better. But, yeah, Hopefully. It was an embarrassment.
Well, I will be in attendance tomorrow at Target Center. Hopefully we bring it tomorrow. Hopefully.
That's what we need.
Yeah, we need me. Yeah. But I will say there have been times this season where the other team has not been full strength and the Wolves did not play well, a la Indiana, a la the first Bucks game. They didn't have Giannis or Damian Lillard. Hopefully, the playoffs, they'll bring it. Chris, thanks so much for being here.
Hey, Wolves in 5. Let's keep it going.
I got Wolves in 6. I'm going to stick with Wolves in 6. And I want to remind you, check out 612Ts. The link is in the description. Use promo code RUN30. That's RUN30, RUN30, I should say, for 30% off your first purchase. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe on YouTube and give us a 5-star rating on Spotify and or Apple. And we're also on Amazon Music now. We're on TuneIn Radio. We're on iHeart as well. You can find us at all these places. So check us out. Tell a friend. We're going to be here for the playoff run. And tune in on Friday where we're going to have awesome guest Charlie Walton on the show. Cannot wait to talk Wolves with him. Hopefully it'll be tied 1-1. Chris, you have not met him yet. So I'm excited for you to get to. Yeah, he's awesome. Check him out on Twitter. He's fantastic. This is the Running with the Timberwolves podcast on the Believe Sports Network. And as always, go Wolves.